What's up, guys? It's head coach Eric Van Manner here from Muncie CrossFit The Arsenal. We're here to talk to you about one of the most important things that we highly neglect. And really oftentimes that's one of the things that causes us some of the worst issues in terms of pain and dysfunction, especially in the lower half, but even can trickle up into the upper half. And that's your feet. Our feet are our foundation, okay? Just like in a building, you need a strong foundation to have a sturdy structure. And if I have a weak foundation, I'm gonna have a weak structure, okay? And so if I don't have strong feet and I don't have stable feet when I do things, especially as I start loading it through exercise and training, I'm very likely to have a collapse or a break in the system. If I'm stronger in my lower body, that collapse, I may not feel it there. I may feel it in that upper body if I'm doing a lower body movement. The body works as a functional system together, one functional unit. And so we gotta make sure that we have that strong foundation within our feet, okay? And there's a couple ways we can do this. How do we strengthen them? You strengthen them through, one, just barefoot, walking around barefoot. Wearing any type of cushion or padding or cloth over the feet that desensitizes the nerves in the feet, your peripheral nerves. And when those get desensitized, they're not able to function. They're also the nerves that are the furthest away from your brain where the nerves are controlled from. And so in that sense, if I'm not actually giving them feedback on a regular basis and walking around barefoot, I lose the function of the nerves because they're the ones the furthest away in the feet, and then I'm not actually doing anything to train them. So one, we do that through barefoot, just living, right? Walking around where you can, around your house, outside. Since I've started doing a lot more of this, I walk around barefoot outside a lot more. You'll see me occasionally in the gym, walking around barefoot. You see a lot of I'm kind of that weird dude. I like to go weird places barefoot as long as I'm allowed, okay? Now, you cannot go a lot of places with no shoes on. So there's things you can do to combat that a little bit. There's shoe wear you can wear, shoes that you can wear. There's also one thing I do with a lot of my tennis shoes that have a lot of cushions. I'll take my insole out. That is often one of our big problems. So, but barefoot, just walking around with bare feet, one of the best ways to strengthen the feet and learn how to use them. Number two, through tools. In a perfect world, we keep a nice tripod balance between our foot pressures. So what I mean by that, we've got 3 points of pressure like a tripod. One is gonna be in your heel. 2 is gonna be in the knuckle of the pinky toe. 3 is in the knuckle of the big toe. So if I can evenly distribute my points of pressure through those 3 points, that's gonna create a nice stable foundation. Now, we do wanna make sure we have a nice active arch. If I have that balance, you see my knees right over my foot, slightly inside, potentially if I wanna push on this side, that's because I'm collapsing my arch. This is where we see a lot of problems go wrong with people when they squat, when they deadlift, when they do anything lower body in the gym. If we get any of this collapse in the foot and the ankle, that's translating up the chain. We're shutting off the hips quite a bit and putting a lot of pressure into the groin and adductor muscles and into the knees, right? So what I want that's gonna help keep this nice stable arch position is I wanna think about taking my big toe, well, taking all my toes, pull them up, spread them out and drive them to the ground, but especially my big toe, I wanna think about trying to curl up under as I push in the ground. That's gonna slightly shorten the distance between my heel and my toe. The more that I do that, you see that actually pulls my arch up, and by pulling my arch up, that lines my foot up on the outside of my knee. So in a perfect world, when I squat, when I deadlift, anything like that, my knees do stay in line with the middle to outside half of my foot. So if I can get in this strong arch position, when I go into squat, that knee stays right on that outside and hinges just like it's meant to do. If I go to squat, and I let that collapse, you see my knee cave in. Right there is gonna be a big factor of any type of knee or hip pain you generally have from squatting. So it's really important we keep this pressure nice and strong and this arch nice and tall to keep the joints nice and stable. When you're doing this, certain tools you can use, something like this Mobo footboard here, allows you to work on that balance and drive your big toe onto the board here. And the better that I can balance and keep that big toe in, you see that pulls my arch up and it helps me feel that balance on the footboard. Now, once I get good at this, I can start doing other things, exercises on it that challenge me, but this is just something to help strengthen the foot. This is not to take the place of our traditional training, but the better that I can get a strong foot, the better this is gonna help with our traditional training. And so you can use tools like the footboard. There's other arch balancing tools that you can use. But you do have foot tools available to help you strengthen them up, okay? And number 3, just find different ways to train them. Picking different things up with your feet. Act like you're a chimpanzee. or a monkey, something along those lines, okay? Walking around and actually training barefoot, all right, if your gym allows it. Here at the Arsenal, we actually kind of recommend it most of the time, but you do mop up after you're done, so make sure you are prepared for that. We're not gonna just let you have your dirty feet everywhere. But walking around and training with bare feet, I do enjoy, especially when I'm trying to take care of my joints a little more, doing some barefoot training, all right? And one of the biggest problems that prevents us from strengthening our feet is our need for comfort, all right? Our shoe quality this day and age is designed way more for comfort rather than what the foot's designed to do. And so when we get these shoes with all this cushion, this padding, and yes, they feel comfortable, but what that's doing is that's actually weakening our feet. It's creating a crutch system for our foot, not allowing it to actually function the way it's supposed to. Think about if I'm trying to balance on one leg, right? Because when I walk, I'm always working on one leg, but then I now add a cushiony pillow under your foot and make you balance. It's harder, right? And especially if I start telling you to load weight or to bend your knee a little bit, it's hard to stay stable with your joints. Well, that's what those cushioned shoes do, is it's like walking around on a pillow all the time. Yes, it makes your feet feel comfortable, but it also makes them very weak in that process. When they get weak, they lose the ability to activate. Again, not having that feedback, feeling into the hard surface, you're gonna get weaker feet, which is then gonna translate into that weak foundation, okay? So shoes are one of the biggest problems because of that. Another thing that you'll often see is we want our feet to be able to spread our toes and drive them all into the ground evenly. Well, with shoes, it ends up jamming our toes into this narrow toe box oftentimes. And so you'll see a lot of people, if they wear shoes all the time and they don't ever get out barefoot, you'll see their pinky and second, sometimes even third toe have started curling up underneath the foot, all right? This is due to a lot of the footwear we wear. I used to have this problem. This is something that through more barefoot training and using the right type of shoes. Me personally, quick pitch, barefoot athletics, this has a wide toe box. It is a very thin flat sole. I wear these all the time around here. They look kind of goofy, but they're awesome and they make my joints feel way better. Any other type of barefoot shoe, we have other people that wear other barefoot style shoes in here, help a ton as well. But the more that we can get out of the shoes, the more you're gonna fix your problem, okay? So with this, I hope you guys learned a lot. Remember, a weak foot is a weak foundation, and a weak foundation is gonna cause a weak structure. We don't want a weak structure, we want a strong structure, especially as you age. And so that's why it's important to make sure we keep focused on the feet, because that's gonna provide balance and a strong foundation. Hopefully you guys learned a lot about the feet. Hope this helps. Let us know any other new content or information you guys would like to hear from us. We'd be happy to share.